Okay, 1 second. Okay, it's coming. I think you should see it now.
Yep, it works.
Okay, I can even do it like this. Good. So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. So today, let's talk a little bit about cybersecurity and why it makes sense to get certified in this field, what you can expect from it, so everything related to it. Feel free to ask questions, feel free to raise hand or just go and jump in and ask your questions. I will try to answer them, but I think we have a lot of topics to cover today, so a lot of stuff. Uh, let's get moving. So here is our agenda. Let's first quickly discuss why you should think about cybersecurity at all, why it should matter to you. Maybe don't. Let's see. Then I will tell you about the opportunity because I really think it's a great opportunity, so it makes sense pursuing it. I will give you a step-by-step guide, how to prepare for the exam, how to pass it, what you can expect on it. So we can also discuss exam difficulty a little bit because it depends on your previous experience. So I can share my experience and I can give you some hints how to better prepare, how much time it can take for you to prepare depending on your level. So we will cover this as well. And I will also tell you what to expect at the test center itself because I took this exam offline. This part will be related not only to this exam, but pretty much to any IT certification because the experience should be more or less similar in every case. Then I will share my feedback and we can discuss it. And let's also briefly talk about what's next, what you should expect after passing the exam. Okay, so with this, let's move on. Let's start with the why cybersecurity matters. Let's find out. Okay, so with more data being created every second, the proliferation of internet-connected devices, the increasing complexity of networks and systems we use every day, protecting data at systems becomes paramount. I just give you some big numbers just to impress you. I googled them, so I'm not sure how correct are them, but probably they are somehow correct. You can see that every day they say that 328 million terabytes of data are being generated throughout the whole planet. That's a rather big number, and the amount of data right now already generated on the planet is even bigger. It's a huge number. I didn't even post it here. You can Google it, but believe me, it's huge and it's expected to grow. So, and all of this, it is basically should be protected from unauthorized access. You should make it available for people to work with, and that's what cybersecurity is dealing with. Also, you can see the amount of internet-connected devices is also quite huge, and it's expected that by 2030 it will double. So a lot of devices already connected and a lot more to come. And just amount of users of the internet is increasing from year to year. It's already more than 5 billion and it will be more. And all of these users need some protection, right? And basically the goal of cybersecurity is just that, to protect confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information and computer systems. So here on the slide, you can see what is called the CIA triad. It is, it's a common model that uh, mm, that just encapsulates three main goals of cybersecurity effort. You can use it as a simple high-level checklist. It is an effective system from cybersecurity perspective, uh, effective system should satisfy all of the components that is described here. It's also a great tool for debugging what went wrong during an incident. You will basically learn a lot more about it during the course, but just to give you a high-level overview, this CIA triad is a great concept and a great representation of cybersecurity effort, in my opinion. Okay, guys, I already spoke a lot, so feel free to jump in and ask questions. And if no questions, I can proceed. So, and let's speak about the opportunity. Um, the thing is, cybersecurity is a well-developed field with many tools, with different techniques, with good and bad and best practices available for you. So there is a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills to learn and practice. It's not like you're starting from scratch. And there are certain associations, like this one, it is called ISC Square, which offers you a free cybersecurity training and exam, mm, plus a certificate. So when I decided to take this path, I investigated a little bit and stumbled upon this opportunity. They're basically offering you a free training, but you can ask, why ISC Square? So a couple of words regarding ISC Square. ISC Square stands for the International Information System Security Certification Consortium. A big name, so IC Square is easier to speak. So it's an organization that specializes in training and certifications for cybersecurity, and it describes itself as the world's leading member association for cybersecurity professionals. It was created in 1989, and it has about 600,000 members worldwide. So I investigated a little bit, and on the slide, it is how mm, they basically present this opportunity to you. You can see that it is like they are trying to close this workforce gap in cybersecurity jobs. It is their global initiative, so you can take this from anywhere in the world, then provide 1 million certificates for free, which is good for us. And it's basically fully online. It is self-paced training, which is quite good. I will tell you more in 5 minutes. But for the exam, you need to go offline and take it offline. We will also discuss it. So I thought it's a great opportunity for me. That's why I took it. So I suggest you at least think about it. But a couple of important notes from my perspective. The exam is indeed free, but you pass it, you get like congratulations, you have passed it. But in order to obtain a certificate, you need to pay for your membership first. They won't give you a certificate without paying for the membership. So it's one caveat already. Um, it is not much, like $50, but anyway. And on the website, they say that you don't basically need any prior experience. But from my perspective, I can tell you probably it's good that you have some prior experience in IT in general, because there is a lot of different topics covered on the exam. And of course, it is possible to start like as a fresh, but it will be much, much, much harder to understand everything, and you will spend much time if you start from scratch. I was not starting from scratch, so I can tell you about my experience. Mm. So let's see how it went for me. So just high level numbers for the first. As I told you total cost, it can be as little as zero if you just take the exam, and you can probably create a post on the LinkedIn like, okay, I passed the exam, but you can't prove it if somebody asks. I don't know if you need to prove it, but if you need, you should pay at least $50. That's the thing. Um, I would suggest you to allow about 2 to 4 weeks for preparation, of course, depending on your study time available, and we will go into it in a minute. And the estimated total effort for me, it was not for me, but for you, I suggest about 20 to 40 hours, again, depending on your previous experience, it should take you to prepare for the exam. Because I expect all of you have some good knowledge, good foundation, so you are not starting from scratch. Of course, if starting from scratch, these numbers will be higher, in my opinion. Let's then go into a little bit more details. So basically, for me, I think it requires these 4 steps to pass the exam and get the certificate. In your case, it can be less, but let me tell you about these 4 steps. So the first step, as I did it, I took Mike Chappell's course. It's a great overview, and on the next slide, I will tell you a little bit more about it. I want to highlight that it is important to pay attention to everything you see in this course. Um, Probably do some additional research, especially on topics that are hard for you. Take notes during the process, of course. And I think that, like on average, you should spend about 7 to 15 hours, and I would suggest you do it during 1 to 2 weeks. So plan for this time. For me, it was about 12 hours, I think, during 1.5 weeks. And then, just for me, I decided to took 2 courses, because I like to over prepare. Maybe I'm a little bit of perfectionist, but anyway, I don't think you need 2 courses. It was an overkill for me as I see it, but anyway, I took 4 courses. And this second course, it is actually mm, the one that is provided by ISC Square for free. So I would say this course is mandatory, and all of these 3 items are optional, depending on your experience. But this course I definitely recommend because they have questions written in a way that will be on the exam, so it makes sense to do, and it's again a good overview. It even had more concepts than in the previous course, but some concept lack some details in my opinion, so probably more Googling uh, will be here, but it depends on you. And it is really important to take the final test probably 2 to 4 times or until you score 80% plus, because this final test, the structure of the questions, it will be really similar to the actual questions on the exam. So this one is mandatory. Let me write it here, at least in my opinion. And then, because there are a lot of different topics in general in this field, you need to know a lot of different terms, and they even have a free set of flashcards with a lot of different terms. I think 173 terms in total with 5 sets of cards. So flashcards is a good way of remembering things. So I suggest you think about it as well. And of course, in the end, I recommend you to take some mock tests. I will provide links to the tests if needed. There are great mock tests available for free on LinkedIn Learning. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, if you don't, uh, I'm sure there are other alternatives. So mock tests, it is the last part of my preparation schedule. I just skipped flashcards because I have good memory. I don't study a lot of terms. I grasp them pretty fast. But this 3 stuff, I did it and I spent some time of it, and I think it was part of my overall success. So guys, if you have questions, I can answer them right now. Or next, I have 4 slides with a little bit more details on each of the steps. Okay, I guess let's proceed. So first, this is how this Mike Chappell's course looks like. Different domains here on the left. It's purely a video, no mock tests, nothing like this. You just watch videos, you take some notes, and basically that's it. Mm, as I told you, pay attention to everything. He gives some tips throughout the course, so pay specific attention to them. Do some research if you need. So overall, about you should plan for 7 to 15 hours of your time during 1 to 2 weeks. I think it's fine. And as I told you, this course is optional. So let's move on. This one is mandatory. It is the official course. You need to register for it. Then you will be given, I think, 180 days to finish it, which is plenty. Uh, okay, what else? So pretty much the same stuff. It has some mock tests at the end of every chapter. I think it's about 5 chapters or 8 chapters here. And at the end, I urge you to take a post-course assessment, the final test, because it's a great representation. You will understand how questions will be formulated on the real exam. So this is important. And for this course, I would plan like 8 to 12 hours to complete it. Okay, moving on. This is how these flashcards look like. So you just see the question, you try answering it yourself, then you can click here to flip it and check you. And it is 173 questions, so just go through them. I will provide links for you. And here is how this LinkedIn mock tests look like. You can see that it's like a standard test. Each test of 100 questions. There are 4 tests in total. And I would say that much of the questions are pretty similar to what you will see on the exam in structure, in difficulty. So I think it's a good test. I suggest you take it. Okay, and after all of this, it's a good time to go ahead and schedule your exam now because you're definitely ready. And I was able to schedule my just in 1 week in advance, so it doesn't make sense to schedule a lot in advance. Just take your time, prepare, and when you think you're ready, go and schedule it. That's how it's easy. Okay, again, if no questions, I will proceed. So, a couple of words about difficulty of the exam. As I told you, difficulty will depend on a couple of factors, your experience and your goals. And also, I have a decade of experience in software development. I have a decent exposure to networking, to cloud computing. I even have a AWS Solution Architect Associate certificate. I know some security concept, but this domain, it simply has a lot of different terms and concepts to understand and remember. So it was a lot for me. I can imagine it will be a lot for you. So that's why I decided to take 2 courses instead of one, because practice makes perfect. Right now, after passing the exam, I see that it was an overkill for the exam and for me, because remember, you don't need to score 100%, right? You need to score 70% plus. But anyway, if you want to over prepare, you can take everything as I just told you. If you think that you have decent exposure, just take this mandatory training from ISC Square and that will be it. Okay, this is my suggestion regarding the difficulty. And what about the timing? Uh, I think that you can complete this full ISC Square course in a week or so, and probably after it you can go and take the exam and pass it. But you can see that for me, it took 4 weeks to prepare in total. I studied almost every day for 1 to 2 hours, but I took several breaks due to work, so it can be different for you. But again, anyway, I suggest you to dedicate like 2, maximum 4 weeks for this and a couple of hours a day, and it should be enough for most of you, I believe. Okay, that's it what I wanted to tell you about the exam Excel and a couple of words regarding what you should expect at the test center. So basically, when you arrive at the test center, they will give you some forms to read and sign. It's some standard stuff like you can't cheat, you can take anything with you during the test room, except for the keys to the locker, stuff like this. Pretty straightforward. Then they will take a photo of you before the exam, and they will even scan a palm or take your fingertips before and after the exam. It was interesting for me. They scanned my palm. There is some special device for this, so I can expect you can see the same. At the test center, there will be different rooms and there will be snacks and water or coffee available for you. At least it was for me at Krakow's test center. They will give you a locker where you can put all of your belongings like mobile phone and everything, and you can take the key from this locker together with you. You can keep it during the test, and they will escort you to your testing room and show you where to sit. That's what you can expect. And basically, the testing center will look like this. So they will typically have these monitors. You can see these headphones. It is a noise canceling headphones, but a passive ones. And because you can expect more people taking different tests in parallel with you, so I was using mine and it helped me. The rest of stuff is pretty much simple, like keyboard, mouse, so nothing fancy. Uh, what I can add here, you will be voice and video recording throughout the full exam. Okay, noise canceling headphones, yes. They will also give you a special erasable board and pencil, so you can take some notes during the exam. And because monitors are usually 16 to 9, so the exam simulator, it will take the entire screen, and basically at the top of the screen in this area, um, you will see your questions. So it will be a little bit inconvenient to read because it will be too wide, but you need to get used to it, and you can even prepare for it. You can take your tests simulating this experience. So just keep it in mind, because when I saw it for the first time, it was, a little bit unexpected and inconvenient, but not a big deal. Okay, so any questions, guys? If no questions, then I will tell you some feedback from my side. So, as I already told you, in these exam simulators, the structure and difficulty of the questions, they are pretty comparable to the real exam. So it's a good representation. For me, I had enough time to read every question twice. As you can see here, you're given 120 minutes. I can also add that I encountered some concepts on the real exam that were not covered during these exam simulators. And it is strange because I took 2 courses, remember? But anyway, some concepts that are not covered. I don't think it's a big deal because remember, you need to score 70% plus, not 100%. But anyway, you can expect the similar experience. So overall, I finished my exam in 50 minutes left. And when you finish, you will know your results instantly. It will be displayed on the next page of the exam simulator, but you won't get your results like official email You need to wait for a couple of days until they check everything, until they check that you were not testing on the exam. But then you can expect to receive an email with congratulations words. But that's a pity. They don't provide you your final score. They just tell you you passed or not. They don't give you some, score between in different domains. Unfortunately, you won't know it. And what I can say, overall, I enjoyed the experience. It was really interesting, but I was preparing not for the exam, or at least it was not my main goal. My main goal was to deepen my knowledge into cybersecurity, to understand new concepts, and I achieved it. Okay. So a couple more words regarding exam questions. So from 100 questions, in my case, there were about five really tricky questions. And by really tricky, I mean you don't know at all what to answer. So it's like a pure guess. You just click something and that's it. So, but just a small amount, like 5% of really tricky questions. And I got about 10 challenging questions. In these questions, my approach was probably to eliminate a couple of answers that are, I am sure, not correct, and then sit and think about the rest two answers, and then like 50-50 decide which one is correct. So about 10 challenging questions. I also encountered about 10 repeated questions, and I really mean they repeat themselves. There were one concept asked, I think, in four questions, of course from different angles, but it was just one concept, and I was keeping answering in the same way every time. Probably they are testing you in this is their approach, but it was interesting for me. And about 10 to 15 really easy questions. And I mean, really, guys, easy. Like you just need to read the question and you instantly know what to answer. So it took me like less than 30 seconds to answer all of these questions. So that was my experience. Okay, let's move on. So now you pass the exam. Congratulations. And what is next? So next, you can expect three steps. First, you need to apply online for the ISC Square membership if you want to get your certificate, of course. You may not apply if you don't want a certificate, as I told you before, but I decided to apply. And when you apply, you need to pay this annual membership fee of $50. Okay, when you pay it, you became a member of ISC Square. And by the way, when you receive this congratulatory email, in the email they will write to you like you need to become an associate of IAC Square, but this is actually wrong. You need to become a member. I don't know why they keep sending incorrect data, but believe me, you need to become a member in case you pass this CC exam. Okay, and when you become a member, when you pay the fee, what you need to do next? You need to basically uh, continue keep your certification, and to do so, you need to earn this continuing professional education credits, CPEs. I will tell you about this in a moment. And just for you to understand, step one, it is like you do it once, and steps two and three, you do it on a recurrent basis. So it's like recurrent activities. So more on the next slides. So this membership, it's pretty easy. You just pay it every year. It is $50 a year. Okay, and uh, a couple of words regarding this certification cycle, because as it's written here, you pay it at the beginning of each year in your 3-year certification cycle. And by doing this, you maintain an active status of your certification. And important point is that your certification cycle, it doesn't run on a calendar year, like not from January to December. It is based on when you were first certified, and I added this line just to better explain it to you. So, for example, if you pass the exam on May 17, 2024, so your first certification year will begin on April 1st, 2024. You see, from the first day of the next month after your certification completion month, and it will last for exactly 1 year, so until March 31st, 2025 it will be the last day. And then you need to pay your annual membership fee of $50. And the second year will begin. Okay, it will last from this to this. Then you need to pay membership fee here as well. And the third year will start. And during this 3 year period, you need to contribute these CPE credits. And with CPE credits, again, it's pretty straightforward. You get it by either contributing into the profession or learning something about the cybersecurity, and then there is some specific mechanism on the website to report these credits. You just go on the website and report them there, and it's pretty easy. 1 hour of learning equals one CPE credit. So if you need 45 credits, so during 3 years, you need to, learn something for at least 35 hours. It it works like this. And there is a great certification maintenance handbook with all of the necessary information. You can just Google it. They have a great, um, you know, visual infographic. So just learn it there. And okay, that's basically it, guys. What next? It now depends on you. You can continue your education in this field. Of course, you can now apply your newly obtained knowledge to your job, and you can seek more challenges overall. So that's it, guys. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Probably from me question